Hello? I don't think so. Oh dear, maybe my podcast. What? You're gonna come? Oh. Hey, is this working? Check, check, check. 1, 2. Hopefully I have audio working and video working and everything actually working at first try this time. And I believe that the correct stream is even streaming. Yeah. Good, 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 good. Let me close that. Don't need that open. It was weird last week, like when stuff wasn't working quite right. That was just bizarre. Yeah. Oh, that's all right, Mason. I promise to be not useful at all for the first 5 minutes, and maybe longer. Oh, some guy never counts to 3. All right, I should have done that. I should have done like the whole. Oh, what is the TV thing? 5, 4. Where you like don't say the last words? I don't know. Never been on TV. That's not true. I was on TV. I was on. Do you remember when Leo Laporte used to have like television shows? Like, was it G4 TV or whatever it was on like cable TV? I was a call-in on one of Leo Laporte's shows once, so I got to be on TV. It felt really professional at the time. Like I called in via Skype, and then like there was a person in the green room with me, like prepping me for what to expect. It was kind of cool. Now, of course, I'm on Floss Weekly pretty regularly, and I did have one. It was Zoom, not Skype, but like a Zoom meeting where Leo joined. I got to talk with Leo. That's like the extent of my fame. So anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. 2 and 1. I forgot, Scott. Yeah, you worked like a television show. I can pop these up. So I did this thing now, popping up comments, because last week when Mason sent a super chat, like it didn't even like show anything. I didn't even know. So I went back to this method using Aaron something, his free like overlay thing. So I'm back to this kind of chat overlay thing. But anyway, yeah. So I went back to this, and I forgot that you worked at TV. Yeah, they didn't do 2 and 1. All right. Ollie, hello. That's a cool hand. I don't know if it'll show up on the screen. Yeah, I love that. That's a cool pink hand. So I was going to say last week somebody did that emoji, and it just said, pink hand waving in colon on the chat, which it is over on the side. But I appreciate the pink hand, so that's cool. Everything going as planned is also something that happens. Yeah, yeah. Not as often. I don't think that happens quite as often for me, but nonetheless. And hello, Northern Chimp. It is good to see you. Good to see everybody, all these names that I recognize. I'm not going to like, oh, this live stream is all about my book. But if you haven't heard me blabber on about my book, it is officially released tomorrow. So I know like some friends who ordered through like Barnes and Noble already have shipping notification that they're getting the book. So that's exciting. So I'm going to leave the little QR code up there if anybody wants to order an autographed copy or a signed copy or personalized copy. You can do it directly from my store. Otherwise, the books are available on all book selling platforms, which was a chore to actually accomplish to get it like everywhere. Yeah. So, okay. Well, I won't make it all about the book, but yeah. So you may or may not know that I did a webcomic and I still plan to again, but I haven't been able to for the past year because I just sleep so much more after having COVID, and I'm hoping that goes away. I don't want to be like one of the long COVID people that, has issues forever, but it was a daily comic for well over a year. And so I made a book. I laid it out into book format and ended up being larger when I got the proof copy than I thought. Cause I got the hardcover literally yesterday, and this is my author copy of a hardcover, and it's kind of thick. It's kind of thick and full of my comic. So yeah, it's kind of cool. So anyway, it's on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and all those things, or you can get an autographed copy from my Etsy store, where basically you might get the one that I just held up because I'm just ordering some stock here to sign. And I got a bunch of people that signed up already, and as soon as I get all of them, I'll ship them right out. So I'm excited. It's been cool. I've never written a book before, and I don't know that this counts as writing a book. But it's a real book. It has an ISBN, so that makes it real, I think. Will it be available for a while? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Mary's my sister. Absolutely. It's going to be available hopefully forever. So yeah, absolutely. It's not going anywhere. In fact, someday there will be a volume 2, because I'm going to keep going. I actually didn't even use all the comics that I have in this book. I just did about a year's worth. It was kind of like a year's journey. The beginning of the book, you can see my drawing skills are pretty horrible, and then as the book goes on towards the end, it's only moderately terrible, my drawing skills. And yeah, it was exciting, and I might have to, I don't know if I should document the process. What a weird process going through. I didn't try to find a traditional publisher to publish my book. My comic isn't popular enough that it would be a good investment for them. And so I didn't even try to shop it around. I just went straight for self-publishing, and it's complicated. You can do things simply, you can do things complicatedly. Of course, I picked complicatedly because that's me. But nonetheless, I learned a lot. And bite moose, exactly. Yeah, the more drawing you do, the better you get. And I didn't think this was going to be the case for me because, there's people who can draw and people who can't draw. And this isn't just me being self-deprecating. This is just, there are people who are like artsy people who like their doodles look like a thing. And my stick figures barely looked like figures when I would draw them. And so my comic really did start as a joke. It really was, I drew a comic as a joke, and I just kept doing it because people were kind about it. And then, I actually got better. It was kind of cool. So anyway, yeah, I'm not kidding. I'm really in the can't draw camp as well. And I truly, it wasn't like me fishing for compliments when I post. Do you want to see where's the original? I'll try to find the very first My Big Round World. And this is like the first page of the book too. Open with, what is the name of my little thing? Is it Mirage? Yeah, that'll work. All right, so I need to ambigify there. So this, if you haven't seen it, this is the very first, oh dear. this is my first comic. I just posted it on Twitter, and the joke was none of my characters to this day have arms because I couldn't draw them. Right, I just didn't know how to draw arms or hands or anything. So maybe I'm AI because AI also is not good at drawing hands. But then the next day I just did it again because people were really kind and it was surprisingly fun. In the comics, the drawing skills did not get better for a long time, but eventually they did. Eventually they got better. And it's been a long time. It's been almost a year since I drew my last comic. It's been a year since I had COVID. And so it might be bad again when I go back. So we'll have to see. I don't know how much of that muscle memory stays with you and how much of it I'll have to relearn. But I'm guessing I'll be less proficient than when I stopped and a little more proficient than that first comic that I just showed. That's my guess. Pardon me. A how-to together. Yeah, you know, and a friend of mine, Kyle Rankin, who I talk about a lot probably, he's been published traditionally, lots of books, and was frustrated with the publishing industry, and so he started self-publishing recently. He just released a book, and he's actually, well, I guess I shouldn't talk about what he's doing next. I don't want to. That's not my story to tell, but there will be information about like how to do self-publishing that I can point people to in the near future. So yeah, it's just harder and harder to get publishers to invest in marketing and stuff, because yeah. Thinking about doing a comedy sci-fi book at one point. Yeah, you know, I don't have time to I don't have time to do anything. Well, I mean, the month of April was proof of that with regard to video creation, but sometimes I just have to do stuff, and the way of getting my thinky bits out varies from writing to drawing to making videos, and I don't know, that's to stay sane. I kind of have to. But Moose, we do have Peppa Pig. Yes, my kids are grown now, so I couldn't tell you a whole lot about Peppa Pig. I've seen a few clips. Like one was really funny. I think it was inappropriate, so I'm not going to share what made it funny. But I've seen a couple clips. But yes, we do have Peppa Pig over here. Better than the animation. Yeah, if memory serves, it's not great animation, but they do have arms, I think, and my characters don't have arms. So yeah, I mean, did you see the comparison that I made? Well, dang it, apparently I wasn't going to make this all about my book / comic, but I kind of feel obliged to now. There's like a before and after where progression. There we go. Open with Mirage. Oh, it opened up a new window. All right, so we'll go back to here. So this is how it started, and it got better, right? See, these are the same characters, two different comics or whatever. That's blue and brown, and then yeah, that's comic 3, and then 260 comics later, the detail is quite a bit better. Still not great. Nobody would consider the panel on the right like good drawing, but definitely better than the panel on the left. So yeah, so it is what it is. I'm so glad that everybody came again today. I really, you know, when you're a creator that puts stuff online regularly, and then you have a month like the month that I just had, you always worry like everybody's gonna just completely flake out and go away. And I'm so glad that has not been the case yet. So I'm hoping that May is a good comeback month. Bugs Bunny, Wile E. Coyote, and Roadrunner. Oh yeah. Would I ever do them animated? Yes. But animation is really hard. And so now I'm using Linux on the desktop fully. Before I switch... Oh, hold on. Sorry. Let me mute that. That's just my mail notification. Before I switched to Linux full-time on the desktop, I had a Adobe Creative Cloud, like the full thing. And I started to learn to do it. Do I have another one of those? I can show that too if I have the animation. I might not have the animation. But Character Animator is kind of a cool... let's see, Pixelmator, no. Clip Studio Pro, no. No. Well. Huh. I don't know, but yeah, I did. I started to do it. You have to like draw the parts separate, and then Character Animator will do a lot of the work for you. It's still difficult, but yeah, there's a clip. If you go to My Big Round World on Twitter, there's a there is a little animation that was close to not the last thing that I posted, but it was like one of the last year things that I posted. I think. Twitter.com, My Big Round World. Here, let's browse together. Why can't I? Trying to make this so that everybody can see what I'm doing. Back here. Are we here? Yeah. So yeah, My Big Round World on Twitter. One of the last things. Oh yeah, I was comparing this to Jim Davis when he first started. Come on. There. So.
Did you ever wonder what blue might sound like? Or look like? Or maybe dance like? Me too. Did you ever wonder what blue might sound like? Or look like?
Okay, stop.
Or...
Anyway, yeah, so I did think a little bit about it and started to, but then ended up switching completely to Linux on the desktop, and then that's where we left. Santiago, hello. It's good to see you. Yeah, I thought a little cartoon series would be fun. And like I said, I'd started looking into it, but it takes a long time to do even just like one scene. Now, Character Animator doesn't take like a frame by frame approach. It does like you tell it where to start and where to stop, and then it will just kind of go from there and fill in the blanks, so to speak. But yeah, it was a lot of work, and then I don't have a similar tool in Linux. There are animation tools in Linux, but none that seem to be as flexible as Character Animator. And so someday, perhaps, but I got to start drawing before anything else. So anyway, yes. Oh man. So the deal with actually the past few months, but this past month in particular, I don't usually talk too much about my day job, but my day job is managing a bunch of servers and a bunch of different data centers on the Filecoin network, and Filecoin has gone through an absolute nightmare of a month or longer than a month. And as of Thursday, nope, not Thursday, Tuesday at 9, Wednesday at 9. Yeah, Thursday. As of Thursday, they pushed an early upgrade to the entire blockchain network that caused things to run more smoothly. And like I used to literally have to monitor all of my services 24/7 around the clock, have notifications that would wake me up when things would go wrong, because if something goes wrong, it's so timely as far as like how you have to accomplish things in the blockchain. I'm not going to talk too much about crypto, but how much you have to accomplish on the blockchain daily to prove like your storage, et cetera, that when things went wrong, I had to fix it, or else it would be a huge loss. And so it's running like normal, kind of like it did 2 months ago, where I just had a normal day job. And so I'm hoping that's what May brings, is a normal amount of day job, so I can do other things. Another thing, my wife is actually having surgery, the first of 2 surgeries on her heel this week. So I'll be caring for her a lot more, but yeah, I mean, I always work from home anyway, so I'll probably be doing a lot from down near where she is, just to make sure that, I can fetch stuff that she needs and that kind of thing. But I'm still looking forward to this month. It's almost surreal that my servers aren't constantly in need of putting out fires and stuff. It's a funny thing to like celebrate, but yeah, that's pretty much what it feels like. Like, oh my gosh, oh no, everything's fine. Oh my gosh, no, everything's fine. It's like I don't trust it. Oh, but it's gonna be good. It's gonna be awesome. So yeah. So yeah, you were right. This month should be a lot gooder and a lot gooder. And I feel like I should knock on wood or something to make sure that I don't jinx it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to May. Also, I didn't mention it. I'm a couple podcasts behind now in editing. You know, we do the Ben Chess Shirt podcast, me and a few friends, and the one that like from 2 episodes ago that I haven't posted was me talking about bread. This last episode that I obviously haven't done either is Ben talking about pizza. But that, you know, every episode has a drink stuff with Sean kind of theme, you know, where we all drink something weird. And this week was a packet of Kool-Aid fruit teas, wild berry tea. Now this was no longer sold as of 30 years ago, 30 plus years ago. They stopped selling Kool-Aid fruit teas, but I'm a collector, and I sent a packet to each of them, and they made it, and we drank it, and that's what I'm drinking now. There's still some left, and I mean, it's not like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they stopped making it. It's fine, it's good, but it's just a unique flavor that's pretty hard to come by. So yeah, that's what's been going on apart from work and the book. The book was kind of a blessing because I could do a lot of the book stuff as far as like setting up websites and submitting ISBNs and doing proofs and stuff here and there, you know, quick snippets at times. So that was kind of a nice thing. So I guess April wasn't a total loss because I did everything for the book in April and it ended up, you know, having something at the end. Still cost a lot more than sales have covered. But it was more about learning how to do stuff. So I don't have regrets there or anything. Your wife is getting, oh yeah, too similar. And I mean, I'm sure you're the same way. My wife is just, she does everything. And so, she's awesome. And she's going to be truly laid up, she only has 6 days off. And then the 7th day she goes back to work as long as everything goes well. But, yeah, it's going to be stressful, but it's going to be fine. It's going to be awesome. Should ask Shannon does for a living. Yeah, anybody who wants to say what they do for a living, by all means. I'm curious too. You don't have to, obviously, but anybody who wants to share what they do for a living, I'm curious too. I know what some of you do or have done, but not everybody. Let's see. Caesar. Sorry, I have to look really closely at the how it transfers the message to see what the person is. But hello from Twitch. I'm glad it is working on Twitch because sometimes I have issues where things just don't work on multiple platforms, but I'm glad it's working there. We have a few viewers on Facebook too. I forgot that I have a little thing up in the corner, like how many people are where. I still love that we're kind of a small community. I don't mind that at all. Started in desktop and then servers, now in networks. Oh, networks. Yeah, gosh, I still have a passion for networking. I mean, I kind of my first real big boy job in IT proper was the was the technology director at a K-12 school. K-12 school, for those of you who aren't in the U.S., it's in kindergarten, the pre-first grade all the way through 12th grade, K-12, kindergarten through 12th grade. And then 12th grade is our highest level secondary, and then it goes college after that. But so yeah, I was the tech director for an entire district, and I had to do everything, right? Desktop support, networking, server installs, planning, upgrading, budgeting, all the, I was not terribly qualified, if I'm being honest, but it was a crash course in learning how to do all that stuff. And I just love networking. Something about having computers efficiently talk on a network to each other, I don't know, it's just fulfilling. So, and I taught Cisco CCNA classes to high school students for a couple of years while I was there. That was fun too. A couple days since she can use her new lens. Right, eye surgery. I remember talking to you about that. Yeah, so you know, I've had LASIK surgery. I've been wearing thick Coke bottle glasses since I was 4 years old. So it's been about 5 years ago now, I guess. I got LASIK surgery, and it worked really well. And I have the monovision, which is where like one is basically you have a reading eye and a like far away eye, which is good because I'm in my mid to late 40s now, so reading glasses are kind of necessary. But it actually works pretty well. The monovision took about 3 weeks for my brain to really like get the hang of, but now I can I can read without reading glasses and I can still see far away. So it's been awesome. But I don't know if it's because of the LASIK surgery or just because I'm getting old, but my night vision is just crap. And everything is blurry when it gets dim. And that sucks. I mean, it just really sucks. For example, yesterday, my wife and I drove down state to watch our niece. She was in a musical. And in the dark room, and especially when the stage lights weren't super bright, it's also blurry. I'm like, man, getting old is not for wimps. And so I don't know if it's because of my LASIK or because I'm getting old, or maybe a combination of. I still don't regret getting the LASIK surgery. It was life-changing. Getting up in the morning and being able to see, that's something I never experienced because I wore contacts for a while. So, I mean, I knew what it was like without glasses. But, just getting up and being able to see is amazing. But I say all that because, like if you have cataracts and you have cataract surgery, they usually will put a new lens in. And then some other things that can happen, and you have to have a surgery on your eyes, and they can put in this like plastic lens, and boom, you just have like your vision is fixed, not by adjusting your corneas, but by adjusting the lens inside. And I've heard it's just like you just see perfectly. So I'm excited for her. I hope, the surgery, I mean, that's scary. Anytime you have surgery, scary. Surgery on eyes, that's even scarier for some reason for me. But I assume it's going to go well. I know that those surgeries happen a lot, and that'll be pretty cool. She'll be able to see really, really well. Linux support engineer, cool, very cool, nerdy, and you're in the right group here. Hello, Lewis Collymore. Oh, we have a lot of duplicates. We have multiple Masons. This is multiple Lewises now, so welcome. Used to be substitute counselor in theater and TV for 30 years before that. Yeah, and it is neat talking to Scott because he has a unique take on AV stuff. Stuff that I have never been a part of. Like we were talking about television at the beginning. So yeah, if you don't know Scott, he's a neat guy. Mason worked in a computer shop during rig fix for 13 years, on a small NSP, doing business support and on-site remotely. Cabling infrastructure. Oh, cabling infrastructure. I've done not just what had to like be done in a pinch. Like in a pinch, right? I've never like run lots of runs of like cables and stuff, but I love networking, and also something about running wires properly and having them done right, with wall jacks and, like terminate into a patch panel that then goes into a switch down, in the MDF or the IDF or whatever, main distribution facility or intermediate distribution facility, is just kind of cool. I don't know. It's just exciting to be able to like help computers talk like that. I do. I just love networking. Now I run a small, for 20. Oh, that's actually cool. I didn't know that, Mason. I'm glad that whoever suggested, was it Mason that suggested this? This is how good my memory is. That's cool. I didn't realize that you run your own. What does MSP stand for? Something service provider. I don't know. But yeah, that's awesome. So I want people work in IT when they open their mouth, being clever, anything says they're wrong. Yeah, that's true. And you know what? I don't even mind as much when people who work in IT say things that are wrong, as long as they have a little bit of humility with it. Because, man, I certainly don't know everything. And I've been in IT and networking and server administration and Linux stuff and desktop support and systems integration and database management, which I was the least qualified for a while. And as long as you have an attitude of humility, I'm fine with people who say things that might be wrong, as long as they're open to being corrected. But unfortunately, those people often don't want to be corrected either. So yeah, just got glasses this year. Oh yeah, it was. So I grew up and I mean, if you know me, I don't remember my childhood because of a car accident, but I grew up really, really poor. And so my glasses were welfare glasses, which are these big, chunky plastic like frames, which now are not actually that unpopular, but at the time were horribly, they had a stigma with them of, oh, you're a poor kid. So I grew up with glasses my whole life and just hated glasses so much. So as soon as I got a job when I was in high school, I got contacts, and I wore those until I guess till I was like 40, early 40s, and then finally had LASIK surgery. But yeah, I glasses to me still feel I still feel like a loser who's going to get shoved in a locker, and I can't even explain it because I don't remember my childhood, but they still have that psychological like hold on me. So anyway, so I'm glad I don't have to wear reading glasses right now, I guess is what I'm saying, and I'm sure I will. But for at least for now, I still can see well enough close up and far away as long as it's bright out. The darkness still is rough. A psychologist. I did know that. I was talking to Santiago. I did know that you were a psychologist as well. Maybe that's why I'm afraid to talk to you. You'll find out all the things that are wrong with me inside. Managed services provider. Thank you. Okay. All right. I couldn't think of what the M was for, so thank you. Yeah. And yeah, it was Mason who came up with the idea of sharing what we do. So cool. Techno Sports from CBT Nuggets. Cool. Yes. I worked at CBT Nuggets until like 3 years ago, I guess. I think it was like 3 years ago. I don't know. The pandemic makes years hard to judge, but yeah. So yeah, well, welcome. Hopefully my CBT Nugget stuff was useful. It's probably starting to get pretty outdated now, but that's all right. And yeah, 50% of IT is Googling because, well, I mean, and it's not like, oh, we don't really know what we're doing, so we Google it. No, everything changes so quickly that you can't like go to college and get a degree and then know all the things in IT because every day things change in IT. So you have to Google stuff. And, sometimes the stuff that you write in a blog post or in a forum reply is what gets Googled by the next person. So yeah, I think the notion of Googling has gotten a bad rap when really that's how you find answers, right? Yeah, that never gets better, at least in my experience. And people who call themselves experts worry me. Like, if you were an expert, you would probably realize that there's so much you don't know that you would be uncomfortable calling yourself an expert. At least that's been my experience. Like with Linux, I don't like to call myself an expert. I'm an enthusiast. Oh, this is my mom, everyone. Chris Amundsen is my mom. Chicken nuggets. Yeah, I worked for CBT Nuggets for years, and I'm not sure that my mom ever really got the knack for remembering the company that I worked for or what it stood for. Just yeah, she always he does something with chicken nuggets and computers. So hello, Sean's mom. Hi, Mom. Thanks for stopping in. Now, this is true too. Yeah, the skill set is in troubleshooting, right? And in knowing what Googled answers make sense. Because there's a lot of wrong answers out there to sift through. But when you're familiar with stuff, you kind of know, like, yeah, this makes sense as an answer versus, okay, yeah, no. What you're saying makes no sense at all, dear person who I Googled. So yeah, you are right. There is more skill than just Googling, but the not knowing everything is perfectly acceptable in anything, but IT specifically. Now it's Chat GPTing it. Okay, yeah, but man, the thing about Chat GPT, it's amazing at a lot of things, but it has no problem telling you an absolute falsehood as if it were true, because it's ChatGPT in particular is specifically good at language, at telling you things. And since it doesn't have any any cares as far as like if it's telling you something true or false. It just tells you very well things that are very much not true, and that's disturbing. Like if you ever ask ChatGPT stuff about a person, like if I ask about me, it tells me a whole list of things about me. Some of them are true. A lot of them are just not true. You wouldn't believe the books that I've written that I've never heard of. Yeah, it's disturbing. Yeah, I don't trust ChatGPT either. Uh, it is an amazing. I mean, it's amazing, and it's going to change the world. There's no question about that. I mean, AI is going to change the world. But every time that I talk about it, like in a podcast or an interview or something, I always say like it's the trust level. I mean, it's great at communicating and coming up with things and remixing ideas and that, but it has no moral restriction from telling an absolute falsehood, or I don't know. I don't understand it. I know it's all just how it's programmed, but it's weird how blatantly it will just say something that's completely false with just as much confidence as something that's true. So yeah, and it's a nuanced thing, Googling for the answer, right? You have to get to the point where you know what to Google for. So, I mean, I guess the only thing that really bothers me is when, like in an interview, like if somebody's in a job interview and somebody asks them, well, what would you do in this exact scenario? And real life situation, a lot of times the answer is, well, I would Google something. And I think a lot of interviewers don't want to hear that somebody doesn't just know and that they would Google, when really they should listen to what they would Google. And I think there are some interviewers who would ask something like, okay, in this situation, this problem, what would you Google? What would your Google search be? And where, I think that's a much better judge of if the person is prepared to do the job, rather than say, how would you fix it? And then if they say Google, say, oh yeah, no, we want somebody who knows what they're doing. Well, if you want somebody who knows what they're doing, you want somebody who knows maybe what to Google. And that's, I think that's a nuance there as well. It's good at being the person. Yeah, I assume we're talking about ChatGPT here, and it's scary how confident in its ignorance it can be. Yeah, and that's the thing. ChatGPT is good at, again, ChatGPT in particular is a large language model, right? It's not a fact. It's not Google. It's not looking for data. It's using data to craft a reply in a way that is understandable and believable and useful. And so, again, its goal is not accuracy. Its goal is to communicate in a human-like way. And so as long as you know that going in, cool. Just feed it good data, and it will use the data that you feed it to properly craft a reply. But left to its own design, you don't want it to be your research assistant at large, because it'll get you fired. Oh, now that's interesting. Kill switch tech. Sit next to the servers of the book. Yeah, I don't think that ChatGPT itself is going to be become sentient or anything, but I think even better than that, I've seen some jobs too, like an AI prompt writer. Like, how can I ask for something in a way that produces the results that I want is a skill that I'm not good at that. I'm not good at writing prompts for the AI things. I also use DuckDuckGo. Scott, yeah, again, more things alike. I use DuckDuckGo for most things. Every once in a while, I'll have to. Google is just a generic search term at this point, but sometimes I find myself Googling. Usually, if I'm not at my computer, but I use that's always my default search engine is DuckDuckGo. And the frustrating part about Google is like the first 5 results are sponsored, and so I don't even want to look at them, even if they're right, even if they're the things I want. I don't want to look at the sponsored results because they're skewed. At least they feel like they're skewed based on somebody paying. So yeah. Dun, 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 dun. That was pretty funny. Yeah, what are you getting better at? It's like, no. Can you give an example? No. But 30-year-old Kool-Aid. To be clear, it wasn't in liquid form 30 years ago. It's been powdered for 30 years, and I created a picture of it. All right. Oh, no, thank you. Befuddled. No, thank you. There's a chat GPT. Yeah. You're probably right. That's probably what it was. Probably chat GPT. Somebody's talking about chat GPT. Let me monitor all of the Twitch channels and I can get somebody to buy. Like we're talking about how much we don't trust AI to do anything for us. Let me offer this solution for you. Yeah. No. Thank you anyway. Oh my goodness, it's already been 40 minutes in. Did we talk about anything in particular other than how much April was kind of a failure and how much we're looking forward to May? And that's pretty much the gist of everything. And yeah, my book's out. Hardcover, paperback, ebook. I haven't sold a single ebook, which is fine. But I thought that was interesting. At least I don't know. I don't know if I get told when I get sold ebooks, like individually. And I have no idea how many actual books sold because I don't get reports for quite some time from the distribution world. Like I don't know how many Barnes and Noble sales or Amazon sales or anything like that. I know how many I sold for my website, but it's been a learning experience as far as it's a lot of you don't know what's going on, and hopefully in the end it all shakes out. But I'm pretty proud of the book, so I'm proud how it turned. It turned out really good. Like it's a chunky book. I'm impressed with how well that turned out. And I don't know. So the next, we can talk about Linux Plus here for a second. So the next video on Linux Plus is going to be about some managing services like Cronny versus NTP versus Time CTL, whatever the System D version of time management is. And I had everything all set up and almost recorded literally like the beginning of April. And then everything kind of fell apart. And so I have to go back and like refresh my memory on the intricacies of Cronny and Time CTL and Date CTL and all those things. So I have to go back and relearn it because the day before yesterday, I was like, oh, I'm going to whip this out. I got it all prepped and it's all prepped. But then I'm like, oh crap, I kind of don't remember the nuances of it. So what am I going to do? I'm going to Google it up so that I know that what I'm teaching is the right stuff. I mean, I could, if it was a matter of me needing to configure servers, I'd just, you figure it out on the fly. Like, okay, it has this installed. Oh gosh, I got to figure out like, okay, here's the config file. If it doesn't make sense, then I'll Google it. But I want to make sure I cover everything well. So yeah, I have to like relearn quickly about Cronny, which I don't use because I am generally using an Ubuntu server system or Debian, and they tend not to use Cronny. That's more of a Red Hat Fedora thing. So anyway, oh, the book. So the book is about my comic. The audience would be anybody who thinks the way I think, appreciates the way I think. It was Blue is the main character, modeled after me, with has some anxiety issues, trying to get through life. I don't know. I enjoy making the comic. A lot of people like the comic. That little dog Stuffy behind my shoulder on the shelf next to the pineapple is one of the characters that Spot from my book, or from my comic, now in my book. So yeah, you can go to mybigroundworld.com and you can see the comics and say, if you're like, oh, that's pretty cool, I would like a book full of these comics. Well, I know a guy that you can get one from. System D. Yeah, so I know sarcasm here. Here's the thing though, Caesar, I actually like a lot of aspects of System D. I like the service files. I think that they're pretty straightforward as far as like setting up services. Like I control my Docker containers using systemd. Like I launch my Docker containers using systemd, where when the system starts up, it pulls the latest version, it kills off any old running containers, it'll start up a new one. I really do like systemd. I like, gosh, there's other stuff I like about it, but then there are things I dislike about it. I very much dislike the binary logs. I don't understand why systemd uses binary logs. I just truly don't. I also don't understand why it has to be integrated into every darn thing, like mounting file systems and controlling the time and DNS. The systemd version of DNS, it's given me more headaches than most other aspects of systemd. So I like a lot of it, but I don't like how it's taken over every aspect of Linux. And there's like backwards compatibility things. So like you don't think you're using systemd, but then you really are, because, like when you manage fstab for mounting file systems, guess what? A lot of distributions now have systemd doing all that in the background, creating systemd mount files in the background based on your fstab file. It just does everything now. So I don't know. I have mixed emotions about systemd. All right. Well, yeah. I did learn once. I'm just going to refresh to make sure I'm not confusing anything. But yeah, I'll make sure to cover that. Cronny, time, CTL, all those things. And then for some reason, like how to configure SSHD, which doesn't really even go along with that at all, but they just called it like system services or something, like configuring system services. And it was like SSH and cronny and like NTP, and there was one other one that didn't quite seem to like go with anything else, but I don't know. It is what it is. So yeah, we'll cover it hopefully this week. My plan was last week, but then it just didn't happen. But again, I look and things are just working well for my day job. So hopefully this will be the week. Blue only has round doors. Well, he did go on holiday outside camping. It's in the book. It's just I think for a week, so it was a daily comic. And so for a week I did it where he went camping with Brown, and Blue is based on me. I was not built to live in the outdoors. And so, yeah, it was pretty good. Leonard, Pottering Creepy Guy. Seems good. I don't know this person. I don't know. Now I don't want to look it up because I don't want to know about a creepy guy. I'm creepy enough. Sister. Yeah, you can. Yeah, and that's cool. I appreciate that. So yeah, check out the Discord if you do want to learn more about systemd. Like I said, I have a love-hate relationship with it. I use systemd all the time, but I wish it did some things differently, like the binary log files for journal CTL. I just don't like that. I just want to have text files and log rotate and that sort of a thing. But okay, I didn't realize that. Okay, creator of systemd. Fair enough. Yeah, that doesn't make it any more wonderful, does it? But I just have highly mixed emotions about systemd because I just wish it did some things differently. Anything going on awesome in the world of anybody else watching? So my book is done. My next book is going to be about Linux. It's going to be based on my open source classroom column at Linux Journal. It's going to be actually text, not comics. And that's going to be like very Linux specific. And I will be talking more about that as it gets closer to publication. But I wanted to do my comic first because the material was done. It was just an arrangement thing. And this next book, a lot of the material is done, but it's a little bit more editing, and I'm looking forward to that. Channel belongs to the author of, okay, System Service Management Made Easy with systemd. Yeah, and it does work good. I was not a huge fan of sysv or sys5. I know it's sys and then the Roman numeral 5. I always referred to it as sysv. I don't even know what people call it. Yeah, I don't know. I just think systemd does too much stuff now. I want it to do fewer things. I do have a Discord. Yeah, here, I'll type a link. Hopefully everybody can see it. HTTP. Actually, I'm going to put a link to my landing page. Because on there is all the stuff. There's a link directly to the Discord on that. There is a link to just all the things. Yeah. So if you go to SeanPowers.com with a 0 for the O, it will take you in just a long list of links to all the things, including the Discord. So yeah, go there, and nerdy people are on the Discord. People who are better at Discord than me. I'm not really great at Discord. I still haven't gotten the hang of it, right? It's my brain is still wired to function like IRC, and so Slack is more like IRC in my brain. Slack just feels like it was directly a ripoff of IRC, if I'm being completely honest. But Discord feels slightly further away from that, and so I just don't quite think exactly like Discord. And I'm not a gamer. I've never been a gamer, and I know it has a gaming background, but it's still there. Yeah. Yeah, I know, Mason. I too. I really do love IRC. See, I know people think that Slack is similar to Discord. I use both. I mean, we have the Discord, and I am on several different Discord servers, but Slack, I'm also on Slack for work and for, personal stuff too. And Slack just feels more like IRC did to me. And I can't explain why Discord doesn't, to be quite honest. I don't really know, because laid out, they're very similar. It just, I don't know, it just feels oddly different. So, and I mean, it could have just set up an IRC thing, but then people are already integrated. And that's the thing about Discord. It integrates so well with things like Patreon, right? So like if you're a Patreon supporter of mine, you get like a special tag automatically on Discord, and you can see the Patreon only channel and stuff. So yeah, Slack may have integrations, but not nearly as good or as well thought out. You prefer Discord over Slack. All right. I mean, and I don't know why I'm less like keen on Discord. I truly don't know. I have them both though. I mean, it's all the same. I also have I have so many things. So I have like a whole monitor dedicated to communication. I have like Mastodon and Twitter and Signal and Telegram and Discord and Slack, and then like when I'm on Floss Weekly, we use IRC for that. So I actually use, all right, this is going to date me too. So when I'm on a desktop machine like this, I use Pigeon for my IRC client. I think Pigeon is an incredible IRC client. I truly do. I just love it for connecting to IRC servers. So yeah, I use Pigeon for that. Ask a dozen times. No. So I did talk about it. Actually, you can go back and listen more. But right now I manage Linux servers in multiple data centers around the western side of the U.S. They're specifically in the crypto world, so Filecoin in particular. I manage Filecoin clusters, which are sealing sectors to store data. Someday, hopefully, will be a viable, easy to use alternative to like AWS storage, but decentralized and on blockchain. But it's still young, and I know it's been a couple of years, but it's still pretty young as far as like smooth usability goes. But Filecoin is what my day job is. It's not my stuff. I work for a company that manages Filecoin, and I'm the sysadmin nerd that keeps things going. So yeah, that's what I do. I've never used Teams, honestly. My daughter uses Teams in her job. She works. She is a manager at a local outdoor clothing retail store. Two of my daughters work there, and they use Teams for communication. People either love or hate Teams, it seems like, and I've just never used it, so I really don't have an opinion there. So it's funny explaining Filecoin. I did some internally. It's not easy to explain and yeah, I don't want to talk too much about it, but IPFS is incredible. I'm a huge fan of IPFS, and yeah, it's incredible. I hope that IPFS continues to get more and more usable. We've had issues with the byte swapping. So I'll finish off. I know we got just a few minutes left here, so I'll finish off with just some IPFS stuff. So IPFS is, rather than referring to a file by its location, like on a server or in a file system, IPFS refers to a file by its hash, and its hash is like an MD5 hash. It's not MD5, but it's like a hash. So like this file, if you were to take its fingerprint, this is its fingerprint, and then you reference it by that fingerprint, by that hash, and it is then found on the IPFS network by that fingerprint. And regardless of where the physical bytes live, the peer-to-peer network, the IPFS network, asks, it's like a routed system. It like asks like, hey, have you seen this? Do you know where this is? And like, no, and it has like default routes and everything, and like connects, finally finds it, and then it will transfer it to you, no matter where it is stored on the entire global or even multiple planet network, which is cool. And ideally you have it in more than one location. Like this same file hash is on like 2 different servers, and a lot like BitTorrent will break something up into chunks, and then you can get chunks from multiple, like lots of places at once. And so you can just like basically flood your bandwidth with like the incoming parts of the file you're trying to get. Ideally, that's what IPFS does. But that part is called byte swapping, where it takes different chunks from like different people who have the same file or the same, parts of the file or whatever, and can you just get it from different people. But that part just doesn't work very well. Even if I'm physically hosting a file in 2 different IPFS nodes and I know they're there, and then I try to download that to a third location, it just doesn't take it from multiple places, and it's not efficient, and it's just not there yet, in my experience anyway. So anyway, another hour flew by. Man, yeah, it did fly by. I'd like to talk about it. I reviewed the ecosystem. There's almost an app for everything. Yeah. So yes, so IPFS is the underlying foundation of Filecoin, right? Filecoin is a layer on top of IPFS that allows for guaranteed storage and delivery. Again, not quite there yet, but IPFS itself, there are tons of apps. I mean, like the Brave browser, it'll just like directly connect to the IPFS network, but it's just not reliably efficient. Like even if you have it hosted in multiple, like high bandwidth locations, getting it is not easy to guarantee. And the byte swapping technology just isn't tuned right or something. And it's beyond my ken as far as like how to make it work right, but it's just not as cool in practice as it is on paper. That's my thought. Hi, Jonathan Bennett, another one of the Floss Weekly co-hosts. Good to see you here. Yeah, if I'm going to use a command line one, it's going to be ERC. I just have ERC and keep that in a screen session. But yeah, WeChat is cool too. All right, yeah, Scott, we'll see you later. I know I'm wrapping up time here. Yeah, the Discord channel is always available. Samples and test. Hi, sorry, it's just at the very end here. But anywho, what exchanges? I don't even know. I don't know. So and the crypto purchasing stuff is not my part of the job. I am the Linux system administrator, network administrator, and I make it work. As far as what's the term? Tokenomics of it, that's beyond me. That is not my part of the puzzle. So anyway, we started to, and Scott was looking to, I'm not there. I haven't done anything useful, Mason. I apologize about that. Scott, we'll see you on the Discord there. Yes. Thank you, Dog Soul. I appreciate that. And hopefully May is going to be a better month for that. April's rough. So, so screen just because I'm old, and that's what I've always used. If you look on my YouTube channel, there's actually a video of Screen versus Tmux, And Tmux is awesome. And it even has like, you can even use like screen key bindings for it. I still use screen. I do. I have no reason. It's not like I recommend it. It's kind of like VI, right? I use, or Vim. I use Vim or VI all the time, but I certainly don't recommend that somebody starts using Vim out of the box, because like Nano is incredible if you want to editor. YouTube Bite Moose, thank you. Yeah, no. I didn't think you're asking like, hey, did you get that done? No, I mean, no, clearly I didn't think that. But thank you for bringing it up, though, because we don't want to forget. That was a great idea. I want to make that happen. So I guess we'll go. I would love to talk about IPFS more. I do. IPFS has such potential to just be so awesome, but in my experience, it's just not reliable. I don't know. I feel bad talking it down. It's such brilliant technology, but again, in my personal experience, it's been frustration more than anything else. So on that note, now that I'm like smack talking something that I think is wonderful, thanks everybody for tuning in again. Thanks for bearing with me in all of April, and hopefully I'll see more of y'all and y'all see more of me, and and I'll finish off with the book too. Hey, book, do you want to buy my book? You want to buy my book? It's available on that QR code. Scan it. And on that note, learn everything, do what you love, and most importantly, be kind. Thanks again for everybody for tuning in, and I'll see you, if nothing else, see you next Sunday, but hopefully before then too. Bye. Awkward time where I try to click all the buttons to stop the stream. Yes, I sure want to end the stream.